So I want to talk about black entertainment TV. I mean, redirecting with Deborah Yah. I have some issues with that group. What about you, dear? What do you think about redirecting and what they're doing?
I only got one thing to say about redirecting. So, black education television was a decent idea.
Okay.
All right. So, she wants to educate people about history of black people. Gotcha. Not a problem. Then they started catching some heat. So, the first thing Deborah does is instead of taking that on and saying, you know, we're going to catch heat for it and some people aren't happy or whatever, they change their name. And Deborah seems to do that a lot. She started out as a Hebrew Israelite, and then she did a video where she's not a Hebrew Israelite anymore. So whenever she starts catching a little heat, she changes her name. And I think that's what redirecting is all about. I think she's caught some heat or something, or people started associating her, the Deborah Yah channel, with a certain point of view. So she's now changed her name.
Yeah, but it doesn't really seem like she's changed her content.
No, the show hasn't changed at all. I mean, she didn't change herself. She changed the name, which simply throws off a little bit of that heat. Oh, here's some heat on this particular channel. Look, we're not that channel. We're something different. What's different? I haven't seen the difference yet.
Well, I know that I've been listening to her channel for, I don't know, a couple of years. And I don't listen to it that much anymore. She gives some news stories, and I kind of like some of the news stories she gives. I don't necessarily go along with her take on some things. But what bothers me about her is that, it's Black Education TV is what it was called. And she talks about she's writing these books and she's doing these things. And hey, she has some stuff on there that you can get if you want to homeschool your children or whatever. And I thought, well, that's neat because I'm homeschooling my children. Well, the ones young enough to be schooled. And I go to her site and she has stuff on there, I guess, but you can't get it unless you join her group. And so that kind of upset me. How are you going to do this show and say, hey, because I care about black people and I care about the education of our youth and getting this information out there, that I'm going to put some of this stuff up that you could get for free. Now, she's selling some stuff, and I don't have an issue with that because, she wants to make some money. Then she can do her thing. But in order for me to have access to this stuff that you say that I need or that will help my children, I have to become a member of your group. Well, I'm not trying to join Deborah Yah or Black Education TV or redirecting. I just want access to some of the literature. And I don't feel like I should be forced to join a group because I don't necessarily agree with everything this group does or says. So I'm not much into just joining people for the heck of it. Now,
No, you're not into giving out your name. That's really what it is. You're not into giving out your name, your address, where you are, and those type of things. That's really what it is. I'm not into that at all. I think if you're going to be secure on the internet, save that stuff for yourself. You keep it private. That means between you and yourself. That's what privacy is. Because there is no right to privacy. I can't guarantee that it ain't never going to get out, who I am or whatever. And that's not to say that I'm not willing to stand up and say that I believe in the Most High, but That ain't got nothing to do with giving out my stuff in today's world. I'm not giving it out. It's just not going to happen. So I'm not going to join anybody's group that asks me for my real name and my real address and my real phone number and where you. No, I'm not filling any of that kind of stuff out.
Yeah, not especially not at this time when I don't feel as if I can really trust these groups. So, there may come a time when something happens and I have to reveal who I am. Well, then I'll reveal who I am. But until I have to, I'm not doing that, because I have a family that I have to think about, and I have to think about their safety and all types of things. But back to Deborah Yah, she seems troubled, or like in her past she had a lot of issues, and every time you can tell when she's having issues in her group, because she'll come and she'll do a video, and this video is always, she comes from the perspective of she's upset and she can't believe that somebody didn't agree with what she said, and so she is just going to batter you down until you agree with what she said. Well, I can't. I'm not a person that's easy to intimidate, and just, you can say it a million times, it's not going to make me believe it just because you said it. And so that irritates and aggravates me, because she doesn't really deal with whatever it is that's bothering her. She just wants to tell you why it's a non-issue, but she doesn't go to the Bible. And then she always uses the excuse that, well, you can go to her husband's channel and find some video where they have talked about it before. And I think, I'm not big on knowing chapter and verse in the Bible. I read the Bible and I take it in what's in the Bible, and that plays through my mind, but I don't necessarily know that this verse came from this chapter. If I want to look it up, I have to go back and look it up. So, but if I am saying something that's kind of that I want you to think about, then I'm going to go through, look up the verse I'm looking for, and then I'm going to say, okay, the Bible says this, and I'm going to give you chapter and verse so you can go look it up too, without going through the effort that I just went through to find it. Because this is something that I think that you should be paying attention to, specifically. But she doesn't do that. She just wants me to just take what she says. So she came with, there's a theme that goes through, it seems to me, that she's dark-skinned, and she has had trouble in her life because she was dark-skinned, and so she has an issue with people who are not dark-skinned. And so she says that if you have anybody in your family that is white, for 3 generations, you are not a Hebrew Israelite. Now, there is one verse that says that, and it was specifically talking to the people coming out of Egypt. But I don't have the 2 and 3 witnesses to that verse. But, there's a lot of verses I haven't seen, because there's a lot of books that I don't know of. So maybe there's witnesses to that verse, maybe there isn't. But it did seem like it was specifically talking about one group, because I know that Hebrew Israelite men have had wives of other nations, and those sons have become kings. Now, I'm saying that I believe that your nation is determined by the Father. So if your father was a Hebrew Israelite, then you are a Hebrew Israelite. That's the way I believe it to be. She doesn't agree, and we can agree to disagree on this, because, I don't, right now, I don't have any verses. I don't have all the proof, and I can't go against what the Bible said about that, but I just don't agree that she's applying it right. But then I was watching one of her videos, and it showed a light-skinned woman who was just being outrageous. She was acting very poorly. And I completely disagree with everything she was doing. But then Deborah Yah said that she must be a mixed breed or something like that, and was talking down about this woman, not because she was confused, she didn't understand she was a Hebrew Israelite, but solely based on the skin color and the lightness of it. And so that really aggravated and pissed me off.
Pretty upset.
Yes, very upset, because I have 6 children. 2 of them are light, 2 of them are medium, and 2 of them are dark. So if she was judging my children on behavior that was bad at some point, she would say that my light-skinned children couldn't be Hebrew Israelites because they're light. Now, I'm sorry that she's dark and she doesn't like the fact that she's dark, but that shouldn't be thrown in too when you were trying to teach the Most High's children. And it shouldn't, the white man made a big deal about our skin color. And he tried to separate us and split us up based on this skin color issue. And as slaves and being blinded, a lot of us fell for that. But we're woke now, right? So you're telling me that in my awoke state, I'm still judging people by the color of their skin, not by the contents of their character? Well, in that case, I guess you could say by the content of her character, it was very off. But
well, now wait a minute. I want to bring something else up here. I want to make sure I'm clear about this, right? Like you said, we got kids. Some of them are dark, some of them are light, and we're both dark.
Well, I'm caramel. I'm a sexy caramel. Go ahead.
It's obvious that we are black.
Yes.
Now, granted, y'all ain't seen a picture of us, and you probably won't, but we are both fairly dark. 2 of our children do happen to be pretty light. But at no point could you confuse them, or do I think you could confuse them for being white. But they could have been lighter. They could have been. And the issue really comes down to this. I can't just look at a photo or a picture of somebody and know their heritage. Now, I can tell the way that they act, and the way that they act may or may not be like a Hebrew Israelite. But my kids act like a Hebrew Israelite. That's what we've been teaching them to be. That's what they do. But you can't just look at somebody and go, oh, they're not. It doesn't work that way. Sounds good, doesn't work that way. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to see somebody with blonde hair and blue eyes and be like, oh, this person's a Hebrew Israelite. They probably are not. But what I am saying is, you can't just look at somebody who has some color and say that they're not because they're light. Right? Now, I'm not trying to say everybody's getting in any way, shape, or form. That's not what I'm saying.
We know that most Hebrew Israelites aren't.
But what I am saying is, you can't just look at somebody and say, oh, well, they're light-skinned, they ain't a Hebrew Israelite. You want to know, to me, the quickest determination as if they're a Hebrew Israelite? Are they following the laws? Does it talk to them? When they hear somebody talking about the laws, does it start to speak to them? If the answer is no, they ain't a Hebrew Israelite.
Yeah, and it don't matter if they light or dark.
Right. I mean,
they can be Hebrew Israelite.
They can be pitch black. If they're not going to follow the laws and they are not drawn to the Most High, they ain't Hebrew Israelites. That's all. That's the biggest determination right there. Now, as I read the Bible, it tells me our biggest threat is us.
Most definitely.
Our biggest threat that we need to worry about is people who claim to be Hebrew Israelites and aren't. So, am I worried about somebody who doesn't claim to be a Hebrew Israelite? No. I know what side they're on. It's when somebody says, I am a Hebrew Israelite, but I'm not following the law. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not any of those type of things. Then I got something to worry about.
Division and separation. So let's go back to Deborah Yah. Now, she says that unless you were third generation black, then you were not a Hebrew Israelite. But when Colin Kaepernick went with his white mama sitting in the audience, stands up or takes a knee for our people and does a press conference explaining why he did it, she was all over him. Oh, he was a great person. Now that seems kind of hypocritical to me. If you believe that you have to have 3 generations of black parents on both sides in order to be a Hebrew Israelite, then why is she so proud of Colin Kaepernick? You know what I mean. I don't understand that. That just seems very hypocritical to me. Now, I appreciate what Colin did, or I'm just going to say Kaepernick from now on. I appreciate what he did. I do. And I have no problem with her saying this person was doing this thing in his own way to try to help our struggle. I don't. I think she should have. But then also, it's the way she was talking down and putting down people with this black, dark skin, that is what bothers me. And every time I hear her go on this kind of rant, it makes me think of the Bible verse where it says where it talks about a millstone, and it says, I don't have that Bible verse in front of me right now, but it talks about how it would be better to have a millstone wrapped around your neck and thrown into the sea than to deceive or mislead one of God's children. So I think when she talks and she gets off on this color thing, then she is automatically telling all of these people to go away.
You mean Matthew 18:6?
Yes.
But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better him that a millstone were hanging around his neck, and that he were drowned in the depths of the sea. And I understand what you're talking about. What you're saying is, if you're going to say on one hand that it's 3 generations, you got to have 3 generations. I know she said it more than once. You got to have 3 generations on both sides to be a Hebrew Israelite. Then you can't then say that this guy who defends, who's taken a knee, is a Hebrew Israelite, because that doesn't work. You can't say on both sides when he's got a white mother. Now, I'm going to say to you that he's a Hebrew Israelite because his father was black. So, because his father was black, he has the possibility of being a Hebrew Israelite. But at this moment, he ain't a Hebrew Israelite, and I'll tell you why. He ain't following the laws. Or if he is, I don't know about it. He hadn't stood up and said, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. Now, somebody might need to introduce him to the laws and get him, in the right path. Now, this is not to say that what he's doing isn't the right thing. I think what he's doing is the right thing. But who he is, when I say who he is, I mean his identity is separate from him doing the right thing. Doing the right thing is one thing. Who he is another thing. Taking a knee to stand up in a public forum and say there's a problem in the United States and it needs to be addressed is absolutely the right thing. And it wouldn't matter if it was a Hebrew Israelite, if it was, it wouldn't matter who he is. It wouldn't matter if he was a Native American. It wouldn't matter. So because what he's doing is right.
What bothers me is how many people have woken up and started trying to find out about the Most High and the Hebrew Israelites and come to her page and said, oh, this isn't for me because my grandmother was white. Or this isn't for me because my mother is white. How many people has she just thrown away? And that makes me angry. To me, it is damn near unforgivable. She doesn't know these people. She doesn't know what their struggle is. She's caring about what struggle she went through at some point. Well, we all have gone through a struggle. And the fact that you just, hey, y'all just go away. Now, I'm going to leave that alone because I do feel a special type of way about it. And I'm going to go to the other thing that bothers me about her. She says we are in the end times. And we got to get our stuff together. We are Hebrew Israelites. The Most High cares about us. He's coming for us. And then she says, hold up. Open your business. Advertise your business with me. Let's join together. We can make this money. Money, money, money. Buy my book. Buy this. Buy that. So what you're saying is that the Most High gave you this knowledge, this information that he wants his people to have, but before they can get it from you, they have to listen to commercials that are leading them astray because we got to monetize, and they have to sign up and give all their information to you. And then they have to send you money so you can send them the stuff that the Most High is telling you they need. Okay. I'm going to say no. So, am I saying don't listen to her? No, she has some very good news articles. She does. Am I saying that I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not even trying to tell you what to think about her or her channel or her group. I'm just telling you how I feel about it, what I think about it. And I'd like to know what you think. So please, leave me a comment. You don't have to agree with me. You can leave the, I can't believe you're saying this stuff about her comments if you want. I'd like to hear if you agree or disagree.
I don't even know. Is she still doing that? Is she still selling that stuff about, what do you call the things for your kids? Is she still doing that? I don't even know.
I don't know. I quit
she
caring
was,
about really what she was doing a long time ago. So,
she was doing that back in the day, but I don't know. I don't even know if she still does that. Maybe that is a thing that I think needs to happen. Maybe we'll have to look into what we were doing with our kids. Putting up some stuff for you to help teach your kids at home, because there's got to be, if she's not doing it, and I know that she was selling it back in the day, but there needs to be something to help people with their children, because it's getting to be where you need to teach your kids yourself.
It's past getting to be.
And if you're not doing that, if you're letting the world raise your kids, you got a problem, because the world will raise them the way that they want to be, quick,
and they're
fast.
going to believe the world before they believe you.
Yeah.
You've got to let go of that mindset, well, this is what I teach them at home, because that peer pressure that they get from those students is more powerful than mama said.
Yep.
Especially today.
Yep. So it becomes real important that you are raising your kids at home. I know people have jobs, and how am I going to do that, and those type of things. It's different for each and every family. It's different for everybody. But if you've got kids, you have really got to be focused on getting their getting them right and keeping them in the faith.
Because one morsel of truth is better than a whole barrel full of lies.
Yeah.
So if you only got 10 minutes, then use that 10 minutes to teach them truth. Let the world and their kids learn all the lies they want to.
That's some more stuff that we'll talk about another time too. But back to Deborah, I want to bring up one other thing about Deborah that really rubs me the wrong way. Rubs me the wrong way. So about a year ago, maybe it was about a year ago, on Deborah's channel, and I haven't seen anything on Deborah's channel where she was like, no, I was wrong.
I don't think she can be.
Well, she could be. It could have happened and I could have missed it, maybe. But as I go and look at the channel, she was talking about the third eye.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, no, I can't let that one go. That third eye thing, I don't know what to say about this. So it's not that she's actually saying you have a third eye. That's not what she's saying. She was saying that you have a pituitary gland. You have a gland in your head that is blocked off and
calcified.
You got to clear it just to hear what's going on from the Most High. Now, I've been reading the Bible, and I don't see anything about this gland. And I don't know how you would know about this gland. Now, I mean, I know science tells us all kinds of stuff, but nowhere do I read in the Bible something like you have to eat greens before you can pray or something like that. I don't see that. Or, hey, you've got to, you need to be cleansing your system before you can talk to the Most High. I don't see that anywhere.
And it seems funny to me because she wants to refer to Egyptians and how they understood and knew about this gland, and how that's how they're getting, they're using that to get power or to talk to the spirit world. But she can't say how Hebrew Israelites were doing that, because maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I am. We weren't allowed to dissect people. You weren't supposed to be touching dead things, not unless cutting them open, ripping their brain out, and looking for some gland. So how would Hebrew Israelites, before they started dealing with heathens, even know that there was this gland? And also, I don't believe that if the Most High wants me to have something, some gland is going to stop me from getting it. I believe that if there is a gland there and it needs to be opened, then the Most High will open it in order to do His will. I don't need to research some gland or worry about what other people knew or what other people did. That's what got us in this position in the first place.
Yeah. Now, am I saying that you don't have to eat? You don't have to follow the dietary laws. You don't have to eat well. No, that's not what I'm saying. All right. We stay away from GMOs as best we can. We try to eat fresh foods. That's what we try to do. And that you're supposed to be trying to grow your own food. And we can talk about why you need to do that. But nowhere do I see that it says in the Bible, nowhere do I see it saying you have to go through a cleanse or you have to do something in order to get to the Most High beyond believing. I mean, beyond changing yourself to say, I'm following the Most High. This is what I'm doing. There isn't an external, I got to eat something. I need to cleanse my... That's not how this works.
There's fasting and prayer, but it's not to open some gland.
Right.
That we shouldn't even know about.
Yeah.
I want to keep going back to the we shouldn't even know about, because there's all types of knowledge out there. And this is going back to also teaching your kids. There's all types of knowledge in the world. And I have an aunt who's she's a dean at a college. Or I don't know, she's something high. She was a dean, she's a president now. Who cares? But she's real into college and book smarts. And I brought her aside one time when she was trying to tell me some craziness, and I said, one of the things I learned from the Adam and Eve story when Eve bit that apple is that there were two types of knowledge. There was good and there was evil. And I don't need to learn the evil knowledge. I'm not going out trying to search and find it. But so all knowledge ain't good. And as a Hebrew Israelite, you need to figure out which knowledge is of the Most High and which knowledge isn't, because there's clearly two types. There are things that you need to know and things you should stay away from. I'm saying this third eye, pituitary gland, whatever it is they want to call it, is one of those things you need to stay away from. But you make your own decision. Read to show yourself approved. Don't listen to me.
And that's a big thing. If we keep going back to this point. Get a Bible. Get to looking up your own stuff. Make up your own mind. Check it against the Bible. Correct yourself and your family. That's what you need to be doing. Everything we throw out here are just ideas. Those are our opinions. This is what we think about stuff. You might have a completely different opinion, but you need to be ready. You need to understand your own opinion and be able to support it yourself. You can listen to what we have to say about Deborah right now and say, no, I completely agree with Deborah. That's fine. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. Do you. But be sure that you can defend it. Not, I heard one person say one thing, I heard somebody else say something else, and now I've decided. No. We looked at Deborah, we compare it to our Bibles, and we go, nah, it's not for us. That's not what she's doing is not how I see it in the Bible. But I'm more than willing to say I've been reading the Bible and trying to compare it to what she does, and I don't see it. But if you can't say the same, there might be an issue. If all you're doing is following along because she says so, I'm going to say question your decisions. And same thing for us. You hear us and you hear what we're talking about. Like we said in our very first video, check us out. You see us not comparing with something you see in the Bible, let us know. Because everybody needs to, it's a boat, we're all in it, and we all need to be steering it to the Most High. That's what we're trying to get to.
We all need to be looking and trying to correct each other because we love each other and we want each other to be on the right path, not trying to correct people just because we don't like them. So, there's a Bible verse where a prophet said, follow me until I'm not following the Most High anymore. And that's what we all need to be doing. If we turn to the left, don't turn to the left with us. If we go to the right, don't go to the right with us. Stay on the straight path.